Hi, everybody. Stefan Molyneux from Free Domain Radio, back with a good friend Mike Cernovich, a lawyer, filmmaker, and the best-selling author of Guerrilla Mindset: How to Control Your Thoughts and Emotions to Live Life on Your Terms. And where do you think Trump is going to take it from here?
He has a pattern. He's even written about this in his books 30 years ago, that you always just hire the best people and delegate. In Trump's mind, you go, okay, I'm hiring the former chairman of the Republican National Committee. I'm hiring H.R. McMaster, a decorated war general. I'm hiring all these people. I'm just going to let them do their jobs and leave them alone and not micromanage and try to be like big picture. That's classic Trump. It's consistent with his career, his advice, the way he manages people. Eventually, you got to realize, hey, man, you're getting sabotaged. And it's time to know who to listen to. If people like Lou Dobbs are asking you why H.R. McMaster is still working for you, if Hannity is asking you what McMaster is still doing, if Laura Ingraham is asking you what McMaster is doing, then you got to actually say, well, hey, maybe there's something to it.
And didn't McMaster also promote this Council on American Islamic Relations guy, this diversity director, who blocked Ayaan Hirsi Ali from speaking?
Prove. You can just show McMaster's bringing in Muslim Brotherhood members, bringing in diversity coordinators who ban actually people who have a different view on Islam. So now they convene a grand jury. So I want to tell you why grand juries are evil. They are sealed proceedings. They are a star chamber. You go in and they ask you questions, and sometimes they try not to even let you have a lawyer inside there with you. You have to walk outside to your lawyer and say, here's the question. And then you walk back in, and they'll just wear you off for 8 hours. And what most people don't realize is that any lie, a lie, which, as you know, could be a mistake of fact, not even intent to deceive, no matter how immaterial, will set you up for an obstruction charge or for a perjury charge.
Because if you can trap people or snare them into perjury or obstruction of justice charges, which are serious stuff, I mean, years in prison you can go for that kind of stuff, then, of course, he can say, okay, well, do you perhaps, maybe we can let you off or give you immunity or reduce your sentence if you kick over someone else along the way. And at some point, when you're being grilled under stress, bright lights, no lawyer present for 8 hours, you're going to say something that could be interpreted as obstruction or perjury and so on. And so this is not a very, very honorable way to work your way up the chain. Let's talk about Susan Rice. She's under investigation for this supposed or alleged unmasking of U.S. citizens. What the hell is going on with Susan Rice and McMaster?
Right. So Susan Rice had the highest level security clearance. She has access to everything. So she doesn't have to actually say, well, here's why I need this information. Here's why I want it. She has total unfettered access to classified information, even though she and Ben Rhodes are under investigation for unmasking American citizens and American civilians as a way to score political points during the election. So she's under investigation. She was supposed to testify under subpoena, and then she wouldn't, and then she's lawyered up. And McMaster wrote a letter, and a great story that Sarah Carter broke today. He wrote a letter saying, hey, all good. You got your security clearance. I'll make sure that you can have whatever you want to have. He wanted her to continue leaking information. That happens to be my viewpoint, based on a number of factors, including he had said there's no such thing as an Obama holdover, even though Obama political appointees put in there by Ben Rhodes, who's under investigation for unmasking, are now working for him. So if you're hiring people who work for Ben Rhodes, who is responsible for unmasking, and these were political appointees very loyal to Obama, how can you expect them to not leak information about Trump? That's a little bit too clever by half. So my interpretation of McMaster giving Rice a pass is not that it was a professional courtesy blind spot, but that he actively wants classified information to be leaked. At a minimum, if he doesn't fire McMaster, these leaks are never going to stop. So Trump lives in kind of a media bubble. He definitely gets a lot of his news from Fox, but Fox has not been covering this stuff very well because Fox is not a very sophisticated network. They don't really have experts on national security very often to talk about this stuff.
Well, and I think given that the media is going to go hysterical about everything he does that advances what he was voted in for and thus goes against the media democratic machine, I'd be a big fan of just do it all at once. Like whatever you've got to do, as he says, wait, be patient and then strike very, very quickly. You know, you bring up your list of your top 20, 10 or top 20 things you got to do, and then do it all on a Friday afternoon. You know, just and that way, what are they going to be chasing every single? It's like watching a dog when 20 frisbees go in the air. They don't know which one to go after. This kind of drip, drip, drip. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to get rid of Comey, and then I'm going to do this. And I think that's just giving them chance to regroup, re-aim, and re-attack. I think just do it all at once. Let's get all this hysteria over with, and let's get the agenda moving forward.
Exactly. What I would do if I were him, I call it the mother of all stories. At 3 a.m. on a Monday night, I would pardon Julian Assange, offer him political refugee status. Trump can do that right away. I'd fire McMaster. I would fire Mueller. He fired Rent, so that's good to go. I would fire I'd fire Brian Hook and Margaret Petterline from the State Department, and then I would just let it all drop. 3 in the morning, and then let the media just panic 6 a.m. Eastern time, like what just happened?
It seems to me like every time he talks directly to the American public, every time he bypasses the media, every time he's the one who gives the press conference, every time he's the one who gives the speech, people respond to him enormously. I'm still trying to figure out, and maybe that's just because I'm out in, you know, alternate media future land or whatever, but I still can't quite figure out why there's the White House press corps. Why is there mainstream media gatekeepers? Why not just talk directly to the American public or talk to people who've been outside that sort of mainstream media echo chamber of leftist indoctrination? I can't understand why it's still going through some of these old channels that are just so twisty-turny that it's crazy.
He's going to have to do something fundamentally very wild, which is always possible. That's why it's never boring. You never know what you're going to wake up to tomorrow.